So for this review, we'll be looking at Storm, or Ororo Munroe. I hope I pronounced that right. And she first appears in Giant Size X-Men #1 in 1975, along with most of the others in this set. I believe this is the only time she's ever been in her first appearance suit in any figure form. Now I may be wrong, but almost all the other Storms are from later costumes, but this is the classic look. She has this very nice cloth cape. This is a very nice touch. They could have just gone cheapo with that. It's like a satin kind of fabric, so it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. My figure came with a broken headdress. These are headpiece, hairpiece, whatever you call this. You see, the other side, this side, would be exactly like this one. So that was something that I was a little bit upset at. But from a distance, you probably hardly notice it. She would have head articulation if it weren't for her hair. Again, common among female figures. Her hair is just all over the place, and being solid plastic gets in the way of everything. So her arms would also have 360 if it weren't for the cape and her hair and this collar piece that is meant to represent the top of the cape. So you're pretty limited to her poses. She does have elbows that bend. There is no waist articulation. Her legs are articulated, but because of the way they're sculpted, it's just they look really stupid if you move it out of the initial pose, or the sculpted pose. She does have knees that bend and ankles that bend. One other thing is you may have noticed that I've been holding her for most of this time because she has these high heels. Yeah, they're very sexy, but they don't really provide much instability. There she's standing okay. Now, in the past, she's quite prone to falling down if someone comes into the room. So that's another little thing that is kind of annoying. No really big paint problems. There's some drips here and there, or some mistakes, very minor. Mostly the yellow here you can see is kind of started to come off. The only thing is, I look at her hair and I don't know, maybe it's not showing up on camera too well, but it's a very pearly kind of a white. It looks very, I have to say, it's made of plastic, but it looks very fake. There's not enough definition in it. Something that could have been done by applying a little bit of black in the lines to give it a little bit more of a body, and not so that it's like a solid mass. Ororo's mother was this princess or witch priestess of a tribe in Kenya, and she fell in love with and married an American photojournalist, David Munroe. Moves to New York City with him, then gives birth to Ororo there in New York. So she's actually legitimately a citizen of the United States. And he gets an assignment to cover the Suez Crisis, and he heads to Cairo and takes along the family. This turns out to be a big mistake because he and his wife are killed in a bomb. Ororo is orphaned at age 6, and she becomes a street urchin and eventually is taken in by a pickpocket and trained in stealing. Starts to make a living that way. It's at that time that she has an early run-in with Professor X, who is tracking another mutant at the time. Can't deal with her at that point. At some point, she eventually tires of the city scene in Cairo and trying to make it there. She starts heading towards her mother's homeland, and it's there she runs into a young T'Challa, who would become the Black Panther, and actually saves him from a bunch of racist thugs or something like that. And they part ways as friends, which will become relevant later on. For those of you who don't know, she eventually marries the Black Panther. So after she meets T'Challa, she finds her mother's tribe, and they are so happy because she then discovers her mutant abilities, and the townspeople worship her as a goddess. And that's when Professor Xavier comes in and asks her to join the X-Men, or weather control. She's able to manipulate all the very different forms of weather, and all things involved in the weather: precipitation, humidity, pressure. She's able to generate and direct lightning bolts. And anyway, that'll be it for Storm. Stay tuned for my next review from this set. Until then, so long.